So this is kind of where we're starting. I know I went over it a little bit yesterday, but I'm just gonna kind of reiterate in places that could use it. Essentially where it attaches, we wanna go in and add a little coil, kind of starting by like the tummy section and then going over. Like that, and then just smoothing it in. So I like to really compress it because we don't want any air pockets, and this is gonna just help to make a smoother transition for your legs and also bulk up the tummy section a little bit. So I'm just kind of smoothing it in both directions, a little bit softer through the leg area. You're okay, that's fine, you're okay. And then you'll see on the bottom, there's a little extra clay here, so we're just gonna kind of smooth that into the center. And you could see kind of how like the belly got built up just a little bit, enough that it's, you know, evening the sculpture out a little bit. Also, as you get your legs on, if they're a little different, just tap it, you know, try to keep it so it's pretty stable. And you really just want to keep adding clay until your legs are, you know, separated but smoothed in at the same time. So I'm gonna just kind of go in and smooth all this, and I'm gonna do the same thing from both directions. Very, very small coils I'm using. Just little guys. Because if you do look at the body, it's a little bulkier through here. Now the neck extends, you know, quite long, so we're gonna do that about to here today, and then we'll get the basic head shape on Tuesday. But go ahead, make sure all four legs are nice and attached and that they're not just kind of sticking on there. You wanna have a nice coil wrapped around so that we're plumping up the tummy a little bit and also making sure that our leg is attached really well. You shouldn't be able to see any seams from the coils, so you do want to make sure you're smoothing everything in really well, and you want to make sure that the leg is still really defined. Then I'm going to flip it over, and here I'm just smoothing it a little bit towards the leg, and then I'm going to kind of like just work it in. Make sure that you are applying enough pressure so that we won't have any air, like I said. And when you do flip the body over, and you could also do this in the end, you do want it to be as smooth as you could get it. That probably might take maybe using a little bit of slip and a paintbrush or a rib tool. And just making sure you smooth it in. You guys can also use your rib tools to smooth this up a little bit if you want to, very gently. You could also use your rib tool to scrape off extra clay. So if you feel like your foot got like kind of thick here, you could also go in and like scrape a little extra off and then smooth it in. But essentially what we were doing with the coils was to make the body look like it is hanging down a little bit over the legs. Kind of see through here. but it's nice and smooth as well. So this was the side we just did, and then this is the side I did not do yet, and I'm hoping you can kind of see the difference. That one's bulked up more. That one doesn't have such a belly. So I'm just gonna do the other side real quick, and then we will go into sculpting the neck, which is gonna use some coiling, but it's gonna be nice and easy. So I wanna get my 2 coils. And make sure that you guys are covering these with damp paper towel, plastic bag. Because it is a 3-day weekend, I would check on it maybe like Sunday night, just in case it's drying out or something. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do the same thing, kind of starting where the tummy is, and then going over my leg, and really compressing the clay in. And smoothing quite a bit of it into the body and the tummy part. Also compressing it through here. And then I'm not gonna smooth it as hard going into here because we do want it to kind of look like it's hanging over a little bit. And then just smooth the inside. But you don't want to have any coil line. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna touch that up. We don't want to have like this really big line here. We want to go in and really blend it. Blend, blend, blend. And if you guys are a little behind, you need to catch up. All those videos are up there. You could work on sculpting while you're watching a movie. I usually always, when I'm doing my artwork, like listen to some music or have like just like a show on in the background or something. And I'm just doing the same exact thing to the other side. Make sure that it's really, really like you're really compressing it in. You don't want to have any little air pockets under there. And we will be going in and making some little air holes so that the air can escape from our hollowed out body, because that air is going to need to escape, and then also from the neck and the head. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that all at once as a class. And just smoothing. And if you feel like any part's uneven, you could just add a little bit of extra. But the key is you want to keep it really nice and smooth. And this is the project we're gonna have the little gold leaf little flowers on. So once you guys get your lotus underglazed, we'll get the turquoise on them, and I will give you guys a special little gold piece. I'm very excited about it. So you can kind of hopefully tell this is looking a little bit more hippo-y now. It's a little more bulky, has a little bit more structure to it. You could definitely see it better on what I'm filming for YouTube right now. So I decided yesterday that I wanted my feet facing this way, and I kind of went in and started to just pinch a little bit towards me where I want to start my neck. And I'm just kind of like smoothing it out and starting to like gradually narrow it, going upward. And this is just to start to get the natural shape. So if you're looking through here, we want to kind of bring it up a little bit. So I'm going to leave it like that. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to attach probably 2 to 3 coils depending on the size of your coil. And that's what we're going to do for the neck. You'll notice that there are some little kind of like I guess curves in the neck. We're gonna go ahead and sculpt those in. First we'll get it nice and smooth, and then we can kind of go ahead in with a tool and just adjust those. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna roll out a coil. And we haven't used coils to sculpt with yet, so this is a little different. But I'm going to look at the image and look at my sculpture. And I think I need to bring my first coil probably somewhere down here. So I'm going to start attaching it. And I'm just gonna kind of get the general shape I want. It goes down a little bit. So I'm just gonna cut approximately what I need here, and then I'm gonna shape it a little bit better. So I kind of want to go down on the bottom, but I mean, I'm sorry. I want to make it like a little thicker on the bottom, but I want to keep it going like thinner on the top. You could see how it kind of like dips down. So I'm going to cut my coil a little bit more. And I'm just going to wrap it around the part that I pinched forward. I'm going to really push this coil on really, really, really well. You can slip and score your first coil on if you would like to. I let my slip dry out, so I am just gonna smooth mine in. And I'm gonna just smooth it in both directions. Now, I wanna kind of keep this going down at first, so I'm gonna really smooth it going down into the back. And then the bottom one, I'm just gonna smooth regularly. So this is gonna be the start to building out William's neck. And try to look at an image, get approximate proportions. You know, these are individualized figurines. My William that I am working on, 4th block, is a little different than my William here, so. I am just smoothing. And the same thing with coil pots. If you need a little bit of extra clay, just take a little bit of extra clay. And I am just gonna smooth this from the outside because I'm not gonna see the inside, so we don't need to smooth it. If you do wanna smooth it just for a little extra support, you can, but you don't need to. And we just wanna make sure that this is nice and smooth. So now we're going places. I'll just smooth smooth that up a little bit more. And you can manipulate the coils as you want. Like I said, we are going to be going in and adding a little bit of, you know, like a chin. So I'm just kind of going in and sculpting it as I see fit. Because this is a little bit thicker of a coil, you could even always go in with like one of those little ribbon tools and scrape a little clay off if you need to. And I'm now gonna keep kind of the same size. The top one should go in a little bit. And I'm just gonna add one or two more coils on. So where we're looking to go is right up until here. And then we're gonna do this little piece here on Monday. Coiling, coiling, coiling. So I'm going to start to compress this in. Like I said, if you have slip made, slip and score it on. Miss Clayton is bad. Let her dry out. Tisk tisk. And then just pinch it off. And the same thing like you're doing a coil pot. You want to make sure that it lines up nice. And I feel like you guys can kind of maybe see where we're going a little bit better now, because we had a potato and then we had some little boots, and now we're really getting to kind of like the other third half of the hippo. My legs are a little bit thicker. I might go in and trim them a little bit, but we could do that on Monday. And to trim them, I'm just gonna go in and use like a tool, the little mini ribbon tool, and just go in and carve a little off here and there. I just feel like I think I made them a little too thick. Whenever I'm talking and working, I get distracted a little bit. So I always like to go back and reevaluate everything I did and go ahead and rework it a little bit. So if you do want to go in and thin these out, you can do that. I'm going to take a little bit off. Take a little bit of the heel off. So look at the picture too, look at the image. I just felt like those are a little too big. But I'm gonna smooth in my next coil. You could smooth either direction. If you feel like it's easier to smooth this clay over, you could do that. So, or you could do this. Either direction is totally fine, whatever works for you. Just as long as you're getting a nice smooth coil.
Can both of us not staying for the second half of class go?
Yes. I mean, I'm just gonna continue smoothing these coils in, and then I will post this. So try to get like 2 or 3 on, look at the images, and yeah, then we're gonna go from there.